Welcome into the Bills Chat halftime show. I am Josh McCarty. The Bills lead the Broncos by a score of 10-7 at Highmark Stadium. Interesting first half for sure. I think there's multiple ways you can look at this. One, I think if you were expecting the Bills to come in and blow out the Broncos, then the Bills only being up 10-7 at halftime probably has you a little nervous. But when you're looking at the things that concerned us about this matchup, truly, the Bills are having a lot of success on offense. They have moved the ball consistently against this group. And the one drive that did not end in points for the Bills ended up that way because of self-inflicted wounds, a false start on Deion Dawkins, and then a sack by Zach Allen that killed the drive. But the Bills are dominating the time of possession, 19 minutes and 40 seconds to 10 minutes and 20 seconds for the Broncos. And really, outside of the one big play, Bo Nix to Troy Franklin on the very first drive, the Broncos haven't really been able to sustain much on offense. Now, Roy brings up a good point. That last drive was certainly concerning because the Bills failed that last drive. Everybody in the stadium knows that the Broncos' goal here is to get to the 35-yard line, and the Broncos are up against it, both against the clock, against the awareness of the players on defense. You saw a McDermott strategy timeout, and then out of that strategy timeout, McDermott comes out and rushes 3 and spies Milano. Why are you spying Milano when they're about 35 yards away from field goal range? Is Bo Nix going to run 35 yards? If he does, I mean, you tip your cap. That would be the longest rush he's had all year. I don't understand. I don't understand that thought process there. I think you either dedicate the guys up front to rush or you dedicate them to coverage. But 3 and a spy, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Offensively for the Bills, though, so far so good. The Bills are running the ball all over the Broncos. James Cook is averaging 6 yards a carry, 13 for 78 and a touchdown. Ty Johnson has added in 2 for 12. And then Josh Allen using his legs. We know how it goes in the playoffs. He will unleash the legs, 6 for 35. Not so much in the passing game so far, but it really hasn't been needed. I would say my biggest takeaway from the first half, I still feel really good about this game. My biggest takeaway, though, is the one downfall of being a run-heavy team and of playing the time of possession game and everything that was really cool to watch where the Bills go on like an 8-minute drive for a touchdown. The one downfall is you shorten the game. And the Bills only had 3 possessions. Am I thinking of that? 3 possessions in the first half? The field goal, the touchdown, and the punt. So when you have a situation where you have 2 teams who are viewed, at least by Vegas, as not equal, the more possessions gives you more opportunity to demonstrate that imbalance. So when the Bills only have 3 possessions in the first half, the variance shrinks. So I love what they're doing on offense. They're running the ball. I certainly don't want them to stop running the ball. This Broncos defense, has some absolute goons in their pass rush, and they have the best cornerback in the sport in Pat Surtain. But it is an issue that it does kind of shorten the game, and it leaves you open to, they faked a punt and it worked. That could swing the game. Like right now, the game is uncomfortable. The Bills are dominating this game by the metrics. When you look at the yards, when you look at, I guess when you look at the rushing yards, passing yards, they don't have much of anything. But you do leave yourself open to something fluky happening. So what the Bills have in front of them here coming out of the second half is a rare double dip opportunity where they didn't have the ball to end the first half. What am I talking about? Well, Will Lutz banks an extra a field goal off the upright. Okay, that's 3 points that really could have been huge momentum for the Broncos. Gone. I'm going to take that as 3 points for the Bills. And if they can go down and get a touchdown on this drive, 17-7, we're all going to feel a whole lot better. Let's check in on chat and see what's going on. Whoa. Okay. I found Mo Brown is very upset. This is the most acceptable one that he put in there. This is a joke. Most frustrated by the score. I understand that, but hey, it's the playoffs. Teams are good out there. Let's see what Senior Onion says. Weird coaching, defense is playing better, but offense has such good drives that are ending in weird ways. Excuse me. Yeah. The first drive, particularly, it felt like the Bills were doing whatever they wanted, and then they got down to the red zone, and Allen had like 2 cases of the yips, where he had Knox open in the red zone and just missed him in the end zone and missed him. And then on third down, he rushes the pass to Cooper, and when he throws it that quick, you're thinking, oh man, he sees something, but he just sails it over his head. I don't know if the timing was off on that play or what, but yeah, that one ending in 3 points, certainly not good. But I think if you're watching, what we're going to see now coming out of halftime is, I would assume, a more concentrated effort by the Broncos to slow down the run. We've seen one counter already where they switched to more of a 5-man front. That should open up some passing lanes, but now these guys have to win. And that's where I would expect guys like James Cook, Dawson Knox. We haven't seen much of Dalton Kincaid today at all on the field to really come out and start making things happen. Only 10 points. Our wide receivers need to get open. So far, Shakir is the only one that's done anything. It feels to me, Roy, like the game plan has been to establish the run, and they're doing it with great success. But when you run the ball, you shorten the game and you add more variance. And, as a team that's a favorite, that is a downfall. It's why a lot of those Patriot teams that won Super Bowls, they were not they had the Randy Moss years, but they were not the explosive Indianapolis Colts, St. Louis Rams at the time, greatest show on turf offenses. They were a bleed the clock. We're going to beat you in the fundamentals. And that's why they won a lot of close games. When you live on the edges, you leave yourself open to having something bad happen. Bill's safeties continue to be a big concern. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I feel like Taylor Rapp is not having a good game. Honestly, I don't think Christian Benford's having a very good game either. It seems like he's really struggling with the size and physicality of Cortland Sutton so far in this game. I would expect Christian Benford to figure it out as the game goes along, but that's where maybe you look at it and you wonder if maybe a Rasul Douglas is a better matchup for someone like a Cortland Sutton, because we've seen multiple instances now where Benford makes a bad play in the secondary. Lucas checks in. All D-line just invisible, especially interior. Zero clue what the plan has been up there, but it's head scratching for those on the inside. And Carter wouldn't provide a plus more. Yeah, Dwayne Carter being inactive was certainly a pregame story. It seems like the Bills were going more so with their veterans. And this does continue a concerning trend where multiple years in a row now, the Bills have made a healthy scratch out of their third-round defensive player. Remember Terrell Bernard was inactive in that Bengals playoff loss, and then he ended up becoming one of the best players on the defense. But I'm with you, Luca. We talked about on our game preview show that this needed to be a game where you felt Ed Oliver, where Ed Oliver made an impact. And this is certainly a good interior offensive line of the Denver Broncos. But so far, it doesn't feel like, unless the Bills are overload blitzing, they're getting any pressure on Bo Nix. None whatsoever. And I feel like Greg Rousseau has been off the field way too much for my liking. It's the playoffs. Can we keep our best player on the field? And then, Ed Oliver has been an absolute ghost out there so far. But, somebody's going to have to make a play in this game for the Bills to survive and advance. And then if you start projecting forward what it looks like if the Bills survive and advance, where you graduate from the Bo Nix territory and now you're dealing with the Lamar and the Mahomeses of the world, this pass rush continues to be a major concern. And it's why when you look at this playoff bracket and you look at this Bills team who, really is firing on all cylinders offensively, now that they have this power running game at their disposal, you do worry if this defense is just too leaky to go on a 4-game winning streak against what will end up being, 4 of the best offenses in the sport, if they survive today, which they certainly have not done yet. Matthew Smiley gone at halftime. Matthew Smiley almost certainly will be gone at the end of the year. The fact that he still has a job and survives some of the gaffes that happened this season, I don't understand it. I will say that fake punt by Sean Payton, though, one, absolute stones, just absolute stones to call the play, because that's not an easy throw. You watch it on TV and you're like, oh, look, that punter threw the ball, I think the equivalent distance of like 30 yards, and he put it on a spot. So Mims is the gunner. And I think it was Ingram over there. He's not really watching Mims. You don't do that on the play. That's why Sean Payton called the play. But still, Ingram recovered in enough time where if the punter doesn't throw the ball in a good spot, Ingram's going to have a chance to make a play on it. So just absolute stones by Sean Payton, and the Bills did survive that. Although I guess if you want to, I mean, it really depends on how this game ends, right? If the Bills lose this game, the talking point will be, hey, look, Sean Payton called a fake punt. It was beautiful. It led to the Bills being on the 1 yard line. I don't know if you can correlate the two, because I feel like, who's to say that if they had punted it there, it wouldn't end up on the 1 yard line. The special teams of the Broncos is certainly a strength. The special teams of the Bills, particularly without their best special teamer, Brandon Codrington, today, is certainly not. So that is definitely something that has shown up so far in this game. Rapp got beat. Yeah, Rapp's having a tough game. Rapp looks like a rookie. We have to give credit to the other side. This is an offense for the Broncos that has had some success, even when you remove whatever that was against the Chiefs last week. They've done better down the stretch. Bo Nix does not look like a rookie quarterback who's in over his head, although he has missed some throws out there a couple times today. We say it every week. Very interested in what happens on this first drive. I think that the Bills, the longer this game goes, that the Bills only cling to a 3-point lead, or they play ping pong with the score and maybe the Bills fall behind, then you're going to get nervous. I want the Bills to go down on this drive, really establish themselves as the superior team, hopefully get a touchdown, make the Broncos play from behind. And then to Luca's point, we need to see the pass rusher step up and close the game out. Second half is kicking off now. Luca and I will be back tomorrow morning for our post-game edition of Bills Chat. Win or lose, please win, Bills. Please win. I don't want to live in a world where the Bills season ends against a rookie quarterback round 1 of the playoffs in Buffalo. But I will talk to you all next week, hopefully, on the Bills Chat halftime show, and we will see you tomorrow for Bills Chat postgame.